My brother tried to have me declared mentally incompetent, so I had him committed instead. The whole mess started about 6 months ago when our father passed away and left his entire estate to me. I'm talking about a house worth around $800,000, two rental properties, and a decent chunk of savings that had been accumulating for decades. My brother had always been the golden child growing up, so when the will was read and everything went to me, he completely lost his mind. At first, he tried the reasonable approach, suggesting we split everything 50-50 since we were both sons. I might have considered it if he hadn't spent the last 15 years treating me like garbage, constantly borrowing money he never paid back, and generally acting like I owed him something just for existing. The guy had burned through 3 marriages, lost 2 houses to foreclosure, and had been living paycheck to paycheck despite making decent money. When I refused to hand over half of what Dad left me, he started getting nasty. He began telling family members that I was mentally unstable, that I was hoarding money, and that I couldn't be trusted to handle such a large inheritance. The accusations got progressively worse over the following weeks, and I could see he was building up to something bigger. The breaking point came when he showed up at my house one Tuesday morning with some official-looking documents. He had apparently convinced a judge that I was mentally incompetent and needed a guardian appointed to handle my affairs. The paperwork was surprisingly thorough, filled with claims about my supposed erratic behavior, my alleged inability to manage finances, and testimonials from people who barely knew me. I spent the next 2 weeks scrambling to find a good attorney and gathering evidence to defend myself. The whole situation was surreal because I had always been the responsible one in the family. I had held the same job for 12 years, owned my home outright, had excellent credit, and maintained healthy relationships with friends and neighbors. Meanwhile, my brother was the one with a track record of poor decision-making and financial irresponsibility. During this time, I started paying closer attention to his behavior, and what I discovered was deeply troubling. He had been lying to family members about conversations we never had, claiming I had threatened him when we hadn't even spoken in weeks. He was calling my workplace repeatedly, trying to convince my colleagues that I was having some kind of breakdown. The man was clearly desperate and becoming increasingly unhinged. The court hearing was scheduled for a Thursday morning, and I was prepared with character witnesses, financial records, and medical documentation proving my mental competency. But the night before the hearing, something happened that changed everything. My brother showed up at my house around midnight, completely intoxicated and ranting about how I had stolen his birthright. He was stumbling around my front yard, screaming at the top of his lungs about how our father had always loved me more, how I had manipulated the old man into changing his will, and how he was going to make me pay for destroying his life. The neighbors started coming out to see what was happening,